Hello everyone, this is Warrior of Light Falfore, coming at you with an Opus XIV Crystal Abyss Pre-Release Kit Opening. These are two pre-release kits I picked up today from my local game store. We're going to open them up, crack some packs, and have a good time. So, I have opened these already, that's why the teeth is already sleeved. And we have a wonderful little statement here from the Final Fantasy TCG North America team. They have had some nice sentiments in the past few pre-release kits, knowing that everything's going on with COVID and whatnot. So I'm just going to set these to the side. Take a quick look at our Tifas. Look at those. Absolutely beautiful. We have special Opus 14 pre-release lettering on there. Golden power. And not a bad ability either. So we're going to set these to the side. Take a quick look. Look at that. These are pre-release sleeves featuring Omega. And let's pull these packs out here. We have 9 packs each. I'm just going to not bother keeping them in order. Goes right there. And let's get rid of these. Alright, it's a fact stack of cards here, and we're just going to get right into it. Got my scissors to make this a little easier. And on with the show, right? Probably not going to read every single card as we go on, but for the first few packs I like to take my time with it. Start out, I have a new Devout in Ice. It's part of one of the rotations that we see here where when Devout enters the field, we reveal the top 2 cards of our deck, add an Ice card from among them to our hand, and put the rest of the cards into the break zone. Then you can dull Devout and do the exact same effect, or put it into the break zone, reveal the top 2 cards of the deck, and add a Ice card among them to our hand. There's one like this, I believe, for every element. Let's see, Vanu, well, speak of the devil, Vanu, Beast Tribe from Final Fantasy XIV. Same effect as the Devout, only in Wind, so we can skip right on through. Kobold, another Beast Tribe. This time, though, of a different set, we have the Primal supporters. When an Earth Job Primal enters your field, activate Kobold. Then Dull, choose a forward. It gains 1,000 power until the end of turn. You can only use this ability if you control an Earth Job Primal. They have one for, if not every element with a primal in it. It might be every element, I can't recall. Here we have Sagan from Final Fantasy XIV. Wow, okay, so we have Devout and Vanu back to back, and now we have Kobold and Sagan back to back. Sagan, its special ability is look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one card on top of your deck, the other on the bottom, and you can only use this if you control a Water Job Primal. Now we have Lick from Final Fantasy IX. I built a Job Chaos deck a while back, and these cards are fun. I'm going to see how well they slot into that deck. But anyway, Job Chaos, 4 cost, 8,000. When it enters the field, you may discard 1 Job Chaos. When you do so, choose 1 card in your break zone and add it to your hand. And here we have a Warrior of Light, more standard unit support from a Warrior of Light. Gives standard unit forwards an extra 1,000 power and damage 3. The job standard unit forwards you control gain plus 2,000 power. So all in all, that could be a plus 3,000 after damage 3. Don Corneo enters the field. Opponent reveals 3 cards from their hand. Choose 1 and they discard it. Alright, discard. What is this here? Ooh, very pretty. When Commandant enters the field or attacks, choose a dull forward opponent controls. Deal it 2,000 damage for each ice backup you control. So that's some damage in ice here. Check that out. And of course, he also has a special light blade. Choose a forward, deal it 2,000 for each ice character you control. And that's our foil. And our hero is Shantotto. If Shantotto is on the field, Shantotto can produce Wind CP. Interesting. She's not multi-element, but she can produce more than 1 color CP. And when she enters the field, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 wind card and up to 1 earth card among them to your hand, and return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. Not a bad card. Next up, we have Revis from Final Fantasy XV. Job Captain. During this turn, if a Job Captain you control has been put from the field into the break zone, the cost required to cast Revis is reduced by 4. And when he enters the field or is put from the field into the break zone, choose a forward, it loses 5,000 power until end of turn. Not bad. Next up, we have Moraga Finis, finally seeing some Final Fantasy Brave Exvius War of the Visions cards in here. And Moraga says when he enters the field, choose a forward in your break zone and put into your break zone from the field during this turn and add it to your hand. Very conditional, but it is an EX, which is nice. And last but not least, we have Ifrita. Ifrita, choose a forward, deal it 7,000 damage, search for Ifrita, and add it to your hand. A great EX burst. I don't know how well she's going to do being a 5 cost, but an EX burst is nice. So let's set these aside. Put these in a common pile over here. Next pack. Easy open. Nice. And let's pop these out. Alright, starting off with Caius. I like Caius as a character. He's pretty interesting from Final Fantasy XIII. This one in particular from Final Fantasy XIII-2. When a forward other than Caius you control is put from the field into the break zone until end of turn, he gains plus 3,000 power and brave. I could see that coming in handy in a few decks, especially being a 2-cost 5,000, turning into a 2-cost 8 with brave. If he gained haste with it as well, it would be really nice, but on its own, it's not too bad. Next up, standard unit Dragoon. When Dragoon enters the field, choose a forward. Until end of turn, it loses 3,000 power for each job or card named Dragoon you control. Some really good removal in Dragoons. Next up, we have a standard unit Monk. When he enters the field, choose a Monk or card named Monk. Forward you control and forward opponent controls. Each forward deals damage equal to its power to each other. Not bad removal for Monks. Blue Mage with excellent artwork from Final Fantasy XI. If you control a monster, Blue Mage gains 1,000 power. When Blue Mage enters the field, choose a monster in your break zone, add it to your hand. Time Mage. When an active Time Mage becomes dull, choose a forward and dull it. It's with Tactics A2, I can see that pulling off a couple of neat things. Don't really see it being meta, but it's pretty cool. We have Goblin at the... This set has monsters with some monster counters that you place on them at the end of turn. This one in particular, you place a monster counter on Goblin at the end of each of your turn, and you can put them into the break zone to choose a dull forward and deal it 2,000 damage for each monster counter placed on Goblin. Next up we have Sniper, more Tactics A2. I love Tactics A2. When Sniper becomes dull, choose a forward opponent controls, deal it 4,000 damage. Not bad, not bad. Yep. Next, we have a foil Ketone, I suppose. Not sure how to pronounce it. I'm assuming it's Ketone. When Ketone enters the field, choose a character. During this turn, it cannot attack or block, and it cannot use action abilities. Pretty neat for an EX burst. And she also has a special, where you can special dull, choose a forward, deal it 4,000 damage. You may pay Earth. If you do so, use the special ability again without paying the cost. Fancy. Great artwork too, looks great as a foil. And next up we have Hero Susano, Lord of the Revel. Susano is a really neat fight in Final Fantasy XIV. Now this is a primal, and this primal is a 6-cost 8,000. And he has a lot of text, let's go through it real quick. He's got haste, and if a forward damaged by Susano, Lord of the Revel, is put from the field into the break zone on the same turn, remove it from the game instead. When Susano enters the field, select one backup you control. You may put it into the break zone. When you do so, deal 9,000 damage to all the forwards other than Susano, Lord of the Revel. So he has the potential to wipe the board, which is very strong, especially in fire. There's a few cards that can boost this effect too. And I think he pairs well with a few other cards. Go on to the next. From one primal to the next, Ramu, Lord of Levin. This Ramu has my friend excited to build another lightning deck around him. For reason 5 cost 9,000. If you have 2 or more lightning summons in your break zone, he gains haste, and when he or a lightning summon deals damage to a forward, break it. There's a lot of cheap lightning summons that can deal damage, so with him on the field, they become cheap break abilities, which is really good. Next up, we have Kefka, and 3-cost backup mage. When Kefka enters the field, choose a forward opponent controls and dull it. Then dull, choose a forward, dull it, and freeze it. You can only use this ability if you control 5 or more ice backups. So, pretty strong, especially to be able to dull on EX. It's nice. And a nice Noctis. I like the outfit. Dull, put Noctis into the break zone, choose a category 15 forward of cost 5 or less into your 5 or less in your break zone. Play it onto the field. You can only use this ability during your turn. If I'm not mistaken, I think King Regis is a 5 cost, so I can see quite a few combos with that. So let's put these two up here. Open up our next pack. Starting off with multicolored Aerith. When Aerith enters the field, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose a forward other than Aerith and return it to its owner's hand. Sorry, choose a forward other than Aerith you control, return it to its owner's hand. Or choose a forward you control. Against this forward cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities until the beginning of your next turn. Neat little protection. Don't see it being used too much, but it is a 2-cost blue, so who knows. Now we have a Bard, can choose a forward, dull it, and freeze it. A Samurai, this Samurai has that same friend excited for his Samurai deck. 7,000 with Brave. If you control 3 or more job or card named Samurai, he gains plus 2,000 power. And when he enters the field, choose a forward opponent controls. If you have a total of 7 or more job Samurais or card named Samurais in your break zone, deal it 9,000 damage. This little common is going to be seeing a lot of play in Samurai decks, I bet. Next up, we have Kojin, which is similar to the Devout, but this time in fire. So, reveals top 2, grabs a fire. Next up, we have Ewan. When he enters the field, choose a damaged forward and break it. Fits in well with Lightning, and he's a Tactics A2 with great art from Ryo Maito. Love his work. Now we have the Kraken from Final Fantasy IX Chaos card. So when he enters the field, you may discard a job Chaos, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Simple enough. Cobroid Yang. This is the monster counter in in red. So fire, put him into the break zone, choose a forward, deal it 2,000 for each monster counter. Bad. Corsair, foil Corsair. Great artwork too. Enters the field, draw 1, discard 1, and if you discard a multicolored element card, do it again. And next up, Octo Mammoth. This card, I'm not the best Final Fantasy TCG player, but this card has me excited. I'm thinking this card's going to be pretty good. If you control 3 or more water backups, he becomes a forward with 8,000 power. And then, when he enters the field, choose up to 2 forward opponent controls. Return them to their owner's hand. So bounce 2 for 3 on an 8,000 body. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Can be really annoying to go up against. And hey, oh, that's funny. I'm getting a lot of great back-to-back cards here, from Octomammoth now to Ultros. That's Ultros from Final Fantasy XIII 2. When he's put from the field into the break zone, you may remove Ultros from the game. If you do so, put the top 5 cards of your deck into the break zone, then select one card named Ultros in the break zone and play it onto the field. Makes sense thematically. Ultros has a lot of recursion from the break zone. Now we have Heidegger from Final Fantasy VII, specifically the remake. When he enters the field, you may discard 2 cards. When you do so, choose a forward and break it. And you can also put them into the break zone, reveal the top 5 of your deck, and add a forward among them to your hand, and return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. That's pretty good. Oh, and hello, Xenos. Cover the packs here. Xenos from Final Fantasy XIV. This one specifically from Dissidia. When Xenos enters the field, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 2 category 14 forwards among them into your hand, and put the rest of the cards into the break zone. And when Xenos attacks, all the category 14 forwards you control gain haste until the end of turn. This one is going to be a staple, I believe, for all Fire 14 decks. Just being able to grab 2 forwards makes him a very cheap card. Let's grab the foil and hero, set them over there. Open up the next. 3 packs down. Let's go ahead and we'll speed it up a little bit. Only going to read off the cards I find interesting here. So we have Steiner, Vanavanu, Fran. This Fran seems pretty interesting. She's a Vera instead of a Sky Pirate, though. And he enters the field if you cast 3 or more cards this turn, draw 1 card. That's going to be not too bad in a win-draw deck. Malja, Fire Primal, can deal 1,000 to a forward. Ananta is the same as the Devout and such, but this time in water. Sylph, Job Primal. You can reduce next damage by 2,000 if you control Job Primal. Warrior of Light, Cobra Yang, and what we got here? Calbrina. Calbrina was neat. I remember playing the first Calbrina in my Dottaluma deck a while back. If you control 3 or more Earth backups, Calbrina also becomes a forward with 9,000 power. And when Calbrina is put from the field into the break zone, you select an Earth backup you control. You may put it into the break zone. If you do so, play Calbrina from your break zone onto the field. Keeps her alive. Just set those over there. Except Chivalry. I'm going to go ahead and read this one. It's an EX burst for 2 costs. Summon. Choose a forward until end of turn. It gains 3,000 power. And when a forward opponent controls is put from the field into the break zone on the same turn, that chosen forward is dealt damage. Your opponent discards 1 card. Cool. We have Yote, which searches for Murn or Fran, and then Kitone. We'll call her Kitone with how much I mispronounce her. Next up. No legends or full art so far, so still plenty of cards to go. Now we have Shuzel. This one is pretty neat. When he or a lightning character enters your field, choose a forward opponent controls, deal it 1,000 damage. This pairs really well with lightning summons that break things that have been damaged, such as his own ability. Choose a damage forward, break it. Aiko that searches for a summon. Fran. Arden. Multicolored Arden. There's quite a few common multicolors now. And he can give all of your forwards 1,000 power in first strike, or give 1 forward 3,000 in brave. Malyrus of 9. When enters the field, you may discard Chaos. If you do, choose a forward, deal it 8,000 damage. Leziford. Leziford's a cool character. When he enters the field, choose a forward. If you paid for Leziford with 3 or more different elements, break it. Solid. And Sephiroth, speaking of common multicolored cards, you choose an active forward, deal it 5,000 damage, or choose a dull forward and freeze it. And that forward's controller discards 1 card from their hand. That's definitely a good ability. Next up we have Steiner. I feel bad for the Steiner. He's just not good. Here we go. Legendary Gilgamesh. This Gilgamesh is pretty solid from War of the Visions. If you have 3 or more different elements among cards in your break zone, Gilgamesh gains 1,000 power, haste, and first strike. And if you have 7 or more, he also gains brave and can attack 3 times in the same turn. When he attacks, choose 1 character. If you have 5 or more different elements among cards in your break zone, dull it and freeze it. This is very strong, very, very strong, especially in these sets with a bunch of multicolored cards. It's going to be no time at all before you get him up to 5, so he's very good. We have Good King Mugulmog 12th. When he's put from the field into the break zone, you may discard 2 cards, and if you do, return him to your hand. At the end of each of your turns, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Play up to 1 card named Moogle 14 or Job Moogle of cost 3 or less among them onto the field, and return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. So Moogle support, very happy to have him. Naja Salahim is can't be chosen by your opponent summons or abilities, and when it deals damage to your opponent, choose a character, select 1 counter placed on it, and double all the counters of the same type as the selected counter on that character. This card might see play in the future. As of right now, I can't think of any counters that are really all that important, but it's a card that will only get better with time, I believe. And then a cute but also weird looking carbuncle from Final Fantasy VII Remake. It just makes me think of Pennywise. Just anyway. Let's take a second here. I'm going to sleeve up my Gilgamesh using Cactar sleeves. The Gilgamesh is a good get. I don't really know if I have any use for it right now, but I'm happy to have it. Now, Tactics A2 White Mage. When White Mage enters the field, choose up to 2 backups of an element other than wind you control and activate them, so it's more backups. A reactivation, we have Sarah, which is alright. When she's put from the field into the break zone, either your opponent discards a card or you freeze all forwards opponent controls. Let's see. Ovjang, I'm not sure. It's an automaton. When it enters the field, choose a forward of cost 3 or less in your break zone and add it to your hand. And it's alright. We have a Dark Knight dealing you 1 point of damage. We have Akuba. When a character other than Akuba enters your field, he gains 1,000 power until end of turn. It's very basic. Managing. Choose a forward of cost 3 or less. It gains 1,000 power until end of turn. It's alright. Geomancer. Choose a forward. Against this forward cannot block until end of turn. This one is nice. This one is really neat. It has the ability to do that every turn, or for free, or to dull and break them. Choose a forward. It gains this forward cannot block until end of turn. So it's pretty neat. The Nath. This is the Devout ability in top 2 cards add a lightning, so it's in lightning. I like the Nath. They're pretty neat. Next we have Stern, so the Dark card, the Dark Hero card. Now, the cost required to cast your forwards is reduced by 1. It cannot become 0. Remove 4 cards in the break zone from the game. Select one of the following 3 actions. Choose a forward, deal it 7,000 damage. Choose a monster and break it. Or, until end of turn, all the forwards you control gain 4,000 power and brave. Stern's a neat dude, so it's going to be interesting to see if he gets any play. Ultimecia. Ultimecia is more mind control in blue, so it's going to be neat to see if it has any play. Red 13, this has got a lot of people excited. When Red 13 enters the field, you may pay fire. If you do, play 1 forward from your hand onto the field. Just play it. If it leaves the field for any reason, remove it from the game instead, and then at the end of the turn, remove it from the game. It's going to be pretty exciting. And then Garuda, a primal. So this Garuda is 6 cost 9,000, and when Garuda enters the field, choose a forward of power 9,000 or more opponent controls and break it. And then when a forward of power 9,000 or more your opponent enters the field, draw a card. So good anti-strong cards. Wind definitely likes cutting things down to size. Up next, Dark Elf. If Dark Elf is dealt 9,000 damage or more, the damage becomes 0 instead. It's definitely a combo card for specific decks. So Mage, Nanta, Sylph, a foil Ewan. Pretty. Legendary Leviathan. This is nice. This is nice and neat. So Leviathan, Lord of the Whirl. Notice that 9 cost there. When Leviathan, Lord of the Whirl, enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 forward opponent controls, up to 1 backup opponent controls, and up to 1 monster opponent controls. Return them to their owner's hands. When a character is returned from the field to its owner's hand, choose 1 forward opponent controls. It loses 9,000 power until the end of turn. So it can wipe out quite a few threats. Being cost 9, it's on up there, but if any color can pull it off, it's water. So it'd be interesting to see. Next we have Aphmau. When Aphmau is added to your hand from the break zone, you may pay lightning. If you do, play 1 card named Aphmau from your hand onto the field. Kitune and Chocomog. Choose a forward, deal it 1,000 damage for each character you control. If you control a job Chocobo or card name Chocobo and a job Moogle or card name Moogle, draw a card. Choco support. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's alright. Alright, that's 2 legends. So that's nice. I'm really hoping I pull Garland, but those legends are also very nice. Alright, next up we have Sarah of Vanu, an Ixali, which is a Wind Primal support. You can choose a forward and activate it if you control a Wind Primal. Malja, Dark Knight, a Warrior of Light, Lizaford, and Luzif. It's a Corsair, back attack. When he enters the field, choose a forward you control, return it to its owner's hand. When you do so, your opponent selects one forward they control, put it into the break zone. It's a neat back attack backup. And next, Kamunot. Already seen them. We have the Proto-Fal'Cie Atom from Final Fantasy 13-2. And not gonna lie, the text is a little hard to read. So it says, if your opponent has 2 cards or less in their hand, Proto-Fal'Cie Atom gets plus 2,000 power in first strike. When Proto-Fal'Cie Atom enters the field, place 2 manipulator counters on Proto-Fal'Cie Atom. When he's chosen by summons or abilities, remove 1 manipulator counter from him. If you do so, cancel this effect. So, it's not bad. Got some protection built in. Next, we have a Leviathan. Select 2 of the following. Choose a forward opponent controls, return to its owner's hand. Choose a light or dark forward, put it at the top or bottom of owner's library, or choose a water forward in your break zone and add it to your hand. This will be an excellent EX burst. And then another Red 13. Glad to have another one of those. Red 13 is probably going to be a 3 of in a lot of decks. I bet there's going to be quite a few decks out there that are going to try to abuse them. Don't abuse the doggies, people. Cobalt, Steiner, Tonberry. That's a monster counter in water. Put this Tonberry into the break zone. Look at the same number of cards from the top of your deck as monster counters placed on Tonberry. Add 1 card among them to your hand, then shuffle the other cards and return them to the bottom of your deck. Neat. Kuja. Choose up to 1 forward opponent controls. Dull it if he's chosen by opponent summons or abilities. Corsair. Paladin. Hey, Paladin. It's nice. My buddy likes Paladins. Don Corneo. Abkuba. Prish. This Prish is neat. Cool artwork as well. If you cast Prish for 4, or really for any cost, if you cast her, you may pay an extra Wind, Earth, and 1. And when she enters the field, if you paid the extra cost, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Play up to 1 Wind or Earth character of cost 5 or less among them onto the field. Return the others to the bottom of the deck. And damage 3, she gets 1,000 power and Brave. It's a solid card. Very solid card. Ramus, Good King Mugelmog, and Noctis. Seen all those already. Moving right along. Dragoon, Monk, Sahagin, Dark Knight, Tiamat, the Chaos card. When it enters the field, you can discard a Job Chaos. If you do, choose 1 character of cost 5 or more and break it. Keep in mind, that's a character, so that goes for backups too. Moogle, Coboroid, Foil Ultros. Tried making an Ultros deck in the past and it just didn't work, but who knows, he might rise again. And Zeromus. When Zeromus is card named Zemus in all situations. When Zeromus enters the field or attacks, choose 1 character and freeze it. And at the end of each of your opponent's turns, dull all the forwards opponent controls. Cool. And damage 3, you gain haste. Neat card. Wait, what color was he? Ice and Lightning. Interesting combination. Ultimacia Ravis. Bronth. Damage 5, dull, put him into the break zone, choose a forward. It gains this forward, cannot be broken until end of turn. That's a neat ability on a 2-cost backup. Play him early, sacrifice him late. Alright. Here we go. We got an Aerith, a Bard. Choose 4, dull it, freeze it. Samurai, Exali, Sylph, Paladin, Foil White Mage. Nothing special, but I do like Tactics A2. Next up, Mashiri. So I have Mashiri and Stern in this pack. So we have Mashari, the light hero. The cost required to cast your summons is reduced by 1, cannot be 0. You can then remove 3 summons in the break zone from the game at any point in time. Select one of the 3 following actions. You can draw a card, choose a forward, return it to its owner's hand, or during this turn, the cost required to cast your next summon is reduced by 3. It cannot become 0. That's more, more summon support. Ooh, Yzael. You can put Yzael into the break zone, play an ice forward of cost 5 or less from your hand onto the field. Beautiful artwork. Hojo. When Hojo enters the field, choose a forward you control, remove it from the game. When you do so, choose a forward in your break zone with a cost inferior of that removed forward and play it onto the field. That's one of those that you just know is going to have some really interesting combinations in the future. All right, how many we got left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're already on our second. We're over halfway down. We're on our second pack here. By pack, I mean pre-release kit. We have Held Leonis. When he's put from the field into the break zone, choose a job standard unit in your break zone and add it to your hand. Tonberry, Kuja, Lyris, Don Corneo, Lezerford, Mirren. When Mirren enters the field, you may activate card name Fran and card name Yote you control. You can put her into the break zone, pay 3 wind, dull, choose a forward of cost 5 or more, and break it. It's good Fran support. Then we had Falfore. If you control 3 or more ice backups, he's also a 7,000 forward. When he's put from the field into the break zone, your opponent discards a card from their hand. X-Death. When X-Death enters the field, choose 1 forward opponent controls and 1 forward of cost 4 or less in your break zone. Break the former and play the latter onto the field. And special Black Hole. Choose 1 forward, remove it from the game. He's at 8 cost, so you're definitely paying for that ability. And Garuda. Now, let's see. Still no full arts, but got a few legends. About Kuja, Tonberry, Fashan. It's the monster counter and lightning. And you can choose an active forward until end of turn. It loses 2,000 power for each monster counter placed on Fashan. That's cool. I like that. Oh, look, foil X-Death. He does look nice foil. And Tifa. Well, now I have a playset of Tifa. And another X-Death. Okay. Wall. This wall is pretty interesting. When he enters the field, you may play 1 category Mobius forward from your hand onto the field. And damage 3, wall gains 1,000 power, brave, and cannot be broken by summons or abilities that do not deal damage. And Ifrit. This Ifrit is a primal. When he enters the field, choose up to 2 forwards opponent controls, deal them 4,000 damage. However, his second ability says if your summon or ability of a character you control deals damage to a forward, the damage increases by 1,000 instead. So that 4,000 really becomes 5. Caius, White Mage, Shuzel, Sagan, Ewan, Sephiroth, Ninjing, Foil Sephiroth, Mom Bomb, it's always fun. If you control 3 or more fire backups, is also a 4 with 8,000 power, and when Mom Bomb's put from the field to the break zone, deal 5,000 damage to all the forwards. Emperor, this Emperor's got a lot of text on it, and it's a pretty neat ability. When he enters the field due to an ability, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character, add it to your hand. The second ability says remove 15 ice cards in the break zone, well, it says in the break zone, but it has to be yours, from the game. Play the Emperor onto the field, and you can only use this ability during your main phase, and if he's in the break zone. Red 13 and Kitone. Alright, 4 packs left. Let's hope for some more legends and full arts. This one didn't want to open. There we go. Let's just skip right on through. foil Good King Mugumog the 12th. That's fun. Trapdoor. I'm just going to get the full set of hero monsters, aren't I? Put from the field into the break zone. Choose a forward opponent controls and break it. That's not bad. Let's see. Let's just zoom on through then. Oh, here we go. Cactoroni. It's a funny name. At the end of each of your turns, place a monster counter on it and put them into the break zone. Choose up to the same number of characters as monster counters placed on them and activate them. Begamnon. I like that artwork. When it enters a field, choose a forward opponent controls, activate it, and it gains, if possible, this forward must block until the end of turn. Situational, but it's a neat ability to have. Light. Calbrina. And, hey, there we go. That's what I'm looking for here. Garland. This card here, I like this card. Not only does it have amazing artwork from Gin Kobayashi, it has a really cool ability. So, first off, if Garland is dealt damage by a summon or an ability, the damage becomes 0 instead. So he's got some protection. Next, when a backup is put from the field into the break zone, draw a card. That's where he's going to shine. And then he also has a very cheap special. Flare. Special, dull. Choose a forward, break it. Then your opponent selects one backup they control, put it into the break zone. That is a very cheap special for a card that has a lot of other instances. I don't know if you're going to want to run the other instances in a deck that has this, but it's still really, really good. And for so many fire backups that break themselves to deal damage, we might be drawing a lot of cards. And keep in mind, that says when a backup. Doesn't have to be yours. When a backup is put from the field into the break zone, draw one card. Ultros, Naja, and Xenos. Price-wise, I don't know if these two pre-release kits were worth it, especially in the cards we got. But of course, it's not all about the cards, it's about the sleeves and the promo card as well. But that Garland was something I really, really wanted. I don't know how much he's going to be going for, but I'm just really glad to get it. Alright, 2 packs left, huh? Oh man, need to learn how to cut better. Go with a Kobold, Dragoon, Caius, Kuba, Lick, Geomancer, Goblin. Ooh, here we go. A foil, full art Illawa. Beautiful Illawa art. So, when Illawa attacks, you may dull any number of active fire backups you control. When you do so, choose one forward, deal it 3,000 damage for each backup you dulled due to this ability, and Illawa gains plus 3,000 power for each backup you dulled due to this ability until the end of turn. It's a pretty cool ability. I do like it, and I think you could build around it pretty easily. And we have Zidane. This Zidane is also very cool. 2 cost, 6,000 wind, water. He cannot be blocked. When he deals damage to your opponent, choose up to 1 forward, return it to its owner's hand. And then Steel, for special and wind. Your opponent reveals their hand, select 1 card in their hand. Your opponent removes it from the game. You can cast it as though you owned it this turn, and you can only use this ability during your turn. Next we have Ramu Summon from Final Fantasy Explorers. Choose up to 2 forwards, deal them 1,000 damage and 1,000 more for each card named Ramu in your break zone. The Emperor and Wall. Alright. Well, the past 2 packs, we got a legend and a full art. A very, very pretty full art. I like Illawa as a character. She's pretty neat. And here we are, already on the last pack. Remember, before getting pre-release kits, I'd usually have either a foil legend or a full art in just about every kit. So, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but so far we've gotten 3 legends and 1 full art from these packs. So a little under the curve, but that's all right. Got what I wanted. Kraken. Puppet Master. Dull 2 active forwards. Choose a forward, dull it. You can only activate this ability once per turn, so it can't be abused too much. And Roche. This card is really neat. Roche, he's 2 cost, 4,000 with haste, and if you don't control any characters, the cost required to cast Roche is reduced by 2, and damage 3 gains 3,000 power. So he's a turn 1 card. Turn 1, throw him out there for free. That's fun. Uza, Heidegger, and last, Bjorn. Alright, let's go ahead and go through these real quick. Puppet Master, Roche, Iloa, Zidane, Calbrina, Garland, that's a good card. Good King Moogle Mog, Trapdoor, Sephiroth, Mom Bomb, X-Death, Tifa, Bjorn, Falfore, White Mage, Mashari, Ultros, Zeromus, Kuba, Prish, Luzef, Commandant, Ewan, Leviathan, Nath, Stern, Steiner, Gilgamesh, Overroyd Yang, Calbrina, Corsair, Octomammoth, also really cool, Kitsune, Susano, Foil Commandant, and Shantoto. So yeah, these were some fun pools. Price-wise, I don't think it was worth the amount I paid for it, but hey, we also got, where did I go? We also got 2 packs of Omega sleeves. These Omega sleeves look very pretty, and I'm looking forward to sleeving up some decks with that. And then we also have the 2 pre-release Tifas. So all in all, not bad. Favorite cards that I pulled, let's go through those real quick. Gilgamesh is neat, but number 1 pull for me is Garland. Really like this Garland, and I'm looking to build around it, but of course need 2 more. So we'll keep pulling, and we'll see about recording a box opening. Who knows? I don't know how this went, so you tell me. I don't do this often, and you might think this video is a piece of crap, in which case, let me know so I can save time and not do it in the future. But if you do like it, let me know so I'll be motivated to make some more. But that's everything I wanted to show off, so thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. Take care.